we have students who have tuned in. Good evening, everyone. So today we have with us a man who needs no introduction, the mentor and co-owner of Techtro Swades United and the founder of Minerva Academy. So he has won everything from the youth leagues to the senior I League and any competition, whichever competition you name it, and he has won it, right? So and not only that, but he has also played and represented India at the under 19 level. So overall, we can say he's a man on a mission who has a dream to see our boys from India play and possibly even win the World Cup. So please welcome Mr. Ranjit Bajaj. So yes, sir. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Varsha, for a lovely introduction. But it's my pleasure to be here, bro. It's my ultimate pleasure, and anything always for Techtro, because I've seen Techtro grow up from right in the beginning and from inception. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how far they can go, because they've been really achieving a lot within a very short span.
Right. So we are all here with a common goal, and it's a pleasure as well to have you as well.
Thank you.
So yeah. So to start with, we have a question that we all know, right? You being the man behind Minerva, the factory of Indian football, producing so many talents, numerous talents over the years. So before that, we also know that you were a footballer, right? Like you were yourself a footballer, and then you started bringing the revolution in Indian football. So what we want to know first is your footballing journey, your journey as a footballer, as a player, and then how you got into the the Minerva thing and how your journey was with Minerva.
See, bhai, the whole thing I think started because I was a footballer, and the passion wouldn't have been there unless and until I was a footballer. There's no disrespect to all the administrators who are there who had never been footballers before, but the pain a footballer goes through just because he doesn't have the facilities or a platform there, even though he knows he's good enough or he better than the ones who are being right now being selected. That pain only a footballer can understand, just because of his location or just because of which city he is born in or which state he is in. Depending on that state depends your career, not depending on how good you are. So that's very sad. That's why when I was there and my journey as a footballer, the first time I was able to get proper football training or coaching as a goalkeeper was when I was in the under 19 India camp. That's the first time a coach actually taught me what great goalkeepers should do, what positioning is, all those things. Yes, I got there because of my performances. Did well in nationals. But imagine we are doing well in nationals without having any knowledge in this. I mean, all the nationals, I've been to 3 nationals, all the 3 nationals I went to, the camp when we used to be there never used to focus on the basics. They used to just make us work a round laga lo. और अभी भी यही चक्कर चल रहा है कि राउंड लगा लो ग्राउंड के, that's how you learn football, and that's not how you learn football. So I saw that there was a lot of talent all around me, and I couldn't do anything when I was there under 19 because I was a kid. 17, 18, you can't do anything about it. But when I came back after my stint in England and I came back after and I left my corporate life, and I said, okay, fine, if I have to give back, this is the way I can give back to my country, because my country has given me the chance to play for India, and the least I can do for it is make sure that there's a platform in the area I am there. So the dreams were not that big. The dreams were to give a platform here, but I got successful because I was able to give a platform to so many different states, and just being from a small city like Chandigarh, and that showed me that if I start now supporting other people doing what I did, and if there are suppose 100 Ranjit Bajaj in India, then the chances of us reaching the World Cup is multiplied and quickened than if there is somebody 100 like me who want to do it but don't know how to do it. And that's as a administrator, and that's as a player. So like my journey started from the first time I played football was again very late to start professional football, 13 in school. Not a proper program. First footballer from my school to ever play in the nationals, because we were a private school and normally boys only from government schools go there. Uske baad, immediately when I went for the nationals and I did well and I got selected in the first camp. First, I only got selected in the camp, and then the second time I got into the team. Then that happened. The fill up from just Chandigarh coming to know that boys can get selected for the team. That showed me that next year, after that, 4 boys got selected. The next year, 8 boys got selected. And probably, you just need one. Doesn't matter which state. So India needs that one Mohammad Salah. And then you'll see all Indians believe that we can be world standard.
Right. So we all need that belief, and you have been giving that belief to all of us. And you have been an inspiration for all the growing footballers and everyone in Indian football. So that's why we have all the students and kids out here. So we have,
Yes. So
yeah,
before I say, see, my football journey again start when I came back. When I came back to India, and I was 30, 31, 32, and at that time, first Santosh Trophy I played much earlier. That means before I went to England, I played under 19 and 21s. And then again, the second one I played when I was 33, and I represented Chandigarh in the Santosh Trophy. So again, its age is also not a mindset. It doesn't matter how young you are, how old you are. It's just about how good you are on the field. And all these things give platforms to so many other people to perform. When you see Ibrahimovic play at that level, people like me think, okay, oh my God, man, at least if I can't be Ibrahimovic, at least I can be playing on the football field. Why? Because if he can do it, why can't I? But if I've never seen a 45-year-old or 42-year-old or 40-year-old like Peter Cech still play at the highest level, I'll never believe in myself. You always have to have somebody set the standard. And again, we're saying, waiting for the first Mohammad Salah.
right. So it's kind of about examples, and once you do it in real life, and then people start following it. Like we can also do it, right? So before, like we have lots of questions coming in from the students, and we had got it previously as well. We have noted down a few. So before going to that, my first question is your advice to the young footballers who want to be professional players in India.
There's only one advice, guys: believe in yourself. You have to believe in yourself. You cannot be let down by failures. See, if you see any footballer who will tell you that, I have never been through failures, but been through bad form, been through trials where I was not successful, they're lying. There's nobody like that. Otherwise, Sunil Chhetri would have got a club the first day he stepped onto the field. He was playing in the Delhi League. And from a Delhi league, he got, picked up, somebody saw some spark in him, took him to Calcutta for trials. Same way, from Sandesh Jingan was playing for Sikkim United in the second division. But see, you have to start somewhere. That doesn't mean that just because you go for trials somewhere, you don't start. You go for trials any place you want, and just believe in yourself. And 99% of the times, what makes a difference in a trial is how long you can last. So you may be really good, but if you're not fit enough in front of the guy who's giving the trial, for example, if somebody comes to me for a senior trial, I will not be looking at people who are unfit. Why? Because first of all, we are not a physical training gym. And if we hire a professional and if you're going to pay him money, I'm talking about for professional footballers, you better be fit before you come for a trial. And for the juniors, this habit of getting fit, like what Sunil Chhetri is now, he's playing like that. He's awesome. Yes, he's very talented, but also because he's extremely fit. And playing at that level for so long, the first goal he scored was when I was still in my 20, when I was 20, man, and the second goal he scored when I'm 41. So come on, man, that's a brilliant thing to say about him. And again, he says it's all because of my diet, it's all because of my fitness. And even at this age, he's better than most of the young guys on the field. So fitness and belief in yourself, two things.
Right. So fitness and believe in yourself is what you said. So I guess that's important advice in the pandemic as well, because many players haven't been, stepping onto the pitch and they're doing the fitness work at home. So, okay. So to begin with, we have a question from Aryan Tiwari. So he says, how to have a proper mindset on the football pitch? And I think you are the best guy to answer this. Yeah.
See, my last question answered a little bit of it. End of the day, yes, football is an 11 versus 11. But end of the day, it's also 1 versus 1. And the more 1 versus 1s you'll win on the Indian football field or any world football field, the better your team will have, because the more overloads you'll be able to create. That means you'll have more in strength than the opposition, just because you've been able to get past one. And 90% of the times, I'm not talking about professionals, I'm talking about all the kids who are watching me today. Every time you played, in your mind, if you know you're going to miss the penalty, 9 out of 10 times you will miss the penalty. So it's all here, basically. Overnight, Fernando Torres, one of the best strikers in the world, didn't become a zero striker. Something changed here. So it just shows you belief in yourself is something which can make you perform at a very extraordinary level. For example, when I was a goalkeeper, if I make a good save, after that, getting through me was very, very tough. But if somebody gets through me early, then my confidence level is low. Then getting through me is much easier than after I made a good save, because that's where it takes you. If a striker has scored a goal in the last match, doesn't matter if he scored in a practice match, but he's got the perfect volley into the net. The next match, his confidence level is this much higher. So it all depends on what? On how good you are in practice. And trust me, so if you start getting good in practice, your game in the matches itself will raise to another level. Why? Because your body believes you've done it before. Once your body believes in it, your mind believes in it. And it's very easy to trick your mind into believing into things which are a little bit more out of your reach, just by giving yourself that confidence boost.
Right, and I think this is something we should focus on, especially in India, because I think personally I feel somewhere we lack this belief or lack this confidence somewhere going forward. But adding to this, I have one question from my own side. That is, some people would say that confidence and belief comes with your, how well prepared or how well trained you are. So is it true, or is it that confidence depends on, confidence makes you train better,
No,
or is it
true,
something like
very
that?
true, bro. See, I'll give you an example. जब जो हमारा worst, for example, मेरा worst subject था either maths or probably physics or something like that. And उस exam से पहले मेरी बहुत पड़ती थी, ठीक है. But मेरे जो I used to love geography और English, तो उसमें मेरे को कोई problem नहीं थी. उस exam से पहले मैं आराम से सोता था. Not because I was good in it, because I was well prepared and I knew that I will not do badly here. और वहां पे मुझे पता था doesn't matter how hard I work, मेरी लगने वाली है. So why? Because I was not good in maths. But जो maths topper था ना, वो रात को maths exam से पहले बहुत आराम से सोता था, because he knew that he's going to do well. So the same way, if something you're good in, you'll already be confident. And that again comes from practice. So you can't start thinking that, okay, with your mind, you'll become as good as Messi. Probably with your mind and your confidence level, you'll be able to raise your game by from 18% to 20% or 19-20 का फर्क जो होता है थोड़ा सा पड़ेगा. Whereas if you train and if you are actually that good and if you're able to do it 9 times out of 10 in the ground, 9 times out of 10 you'll do it in the matches.
So that was, I think, perfectly answered for everyone out here. So next we have a question from Rudra. I'll be taking his question next. So he says, every player has ups and downs in his career, in their life. So what was your lowest moment in life and how did you overcome it?
See, my lowest moment again was not probably being selected when I started for my school team as the first keeper. I got over it by working harder and making sure that I don't give up and I keep trying just because I'm not the first keeper in school. See, if I had given up there, I would have never been able to play well in the schools and then win the schools and then go for nationals and then do well in the nationals and do all that. So it all came from that first disappointment. So it sets a standard for you, how you react. There are, when they say that, life is what 90% of what happens to you and 10% is only how you react to it. So the point is it's all about how you react. And your life is going to be dependent on your situation. Suppose you've given something and you've fallen down. Now you can be in two things. Okay, man, this is the worst thing which can happen to me. Oh my God, why did this happen to me? Oh my God, I prepared so well. I don't deserve this. Or you can say, okay, man, it's not killed me. I've become stronger. I've learned. What have I learned from it? What do I make sure I do not do again? Okay, next time you go fail again. Doesn't matter, because you learned something else and you will make sure you don't do that again. And then you do fail again. Doesn't matter. So people actually think the winner of life is who? The winner of life is the one who comes first. No. जो पहली बारी में first आ गया ना, जिस दिन वो गिरेगा साला कभी उठेगा नहीं. Winner of life is the one who never gives up. The one who keeps on getting problems and getting up and facing them and saying और बता क्या है. फिर एक और चपेट पड़ी, और बता क्या है. एक और चपेट पड़ी. चपेट मतलब problem बड़ी life की. और बता क्या है. The loser is the one who gives up, because then you can't do anything about it. As long as you don't give up in life, you're winning. And I learned that very early on in my life that, If I don't give up, does no matter till I die. If I don't give up, till then I'm winning.
Right, very true. So we always hear that, as a quote or something, that either you win or you learn. So it's something like that, but we have to apply it in real
Exactly.
life. Right. So next, going on, one Sharma has asked. It's something you have already answered previously, I guess, in your introduction part. So he has asked how to succeed in trials as a skillful player. I think what he means is how can you succeed in a trial when you go to give a trial.
So it depends. When you say skillful, are you a midfielder or are you a centre back who's skillful? So what do you mean by skillful? A midfielder who's skillful is the ones who can dribble past two or three people and give a beautiful pass or a beautiful through pass or a beautiful assist. Whereas centre back is the one who's skillful, is the one who can win all headers. So it depends. And yes, you can show your skill for how many minutes in the match. Can you show your skill for all 90 minutes? That's what it counts. Doesn't matter, because if you're a defender and you make one mistake, doesn't matter who you are in your trial, they're not going to take you. Even if you're the best defender, even if doesn't matter, like Sandesh Jingan goes for a trial and he cows a goal, and nobody knows obviously that he's Sandesh Jingan. Sandesh Jingan goes for a trial and he cows a goal between his legs. Nobody's going to give him a second look. Why? Because he didn't make it. So to be at 100% concentration is again a game of fitness. You can only be 100% if you are at least 20 plus on the yo-yo. You can play for 90 minutes fully only if you're 20 plus on the yo-yo. If you're not, chances of you playing at your 100% is not going to be there. When you're not 100%, you'll make mistakes. When you'll make mistakes is the time when people do not like you on the field. Coaches don't like you, captains don't like you, and the team owner doesn't like you. So the chance is at least to be 100%. So if I know if I'm fit enough and I'm 100%, I can make this 5-yard pass 100 times out of 100. But अगर मैं बिल्कुल थका दो और मैं ऐसे करके बैठ रहा हूँ, and I know फिर शायद एक pass इधर से इधर चलेगी. So when you know that, how can you be at that kind of a level when you're not fit enough and you let your team down? So again, it comes down more to fitness and then obviously belief in yourself, like I said.
So fitness and stamina, I guess. So I'll just edit that question, modify that question a bit. If you remove the skillful part from it, so we have seen, or even me personally, in training we do something different. We practice, we are playing well. Suppose we are high on confidence, but then on the trial field, it's something totally different, a totally different scenario. So what should we, or how should we prepare?
Very good, great question. See, what happens is that you feel the pressure. There is no pressure to fail in practice. If you fail, it doesn't matter. It's not life or death. For example, for a footballer in the trial, हमारे life or death होता है. It's a matter of life and death for footballers. So in the practice, when you're doing it with your friends, even if you fuck up once or twice, it doesn't make that much of a difference. Why? Because all friends are playing and it doesn't cost you anything. So you're able to try more. That is why we keep telling coaches that we please let footballers go and express themselves. And when will you screw up and not do that? If you've not mastered the technique. So if you mastered, for example, you try a step over in practice and it works, don't think you'll be able to try the same step over like Ronaldo and do it in matches, because the other guy playing up in front of you probably knows what you're going to do. But if you do it 100 times in practice, I guarantee you when you go to the match, you'll do it well without even having the pressure. Pressure will be on something else which you're not mastered. Pressure will be, suppose ye volley aayegi, will I be able to volley it correctly? Because you've not practiced that 100 times. If you practice volley 100 times, trust me, there are people like Del Piero who used to, after every practice, go and volley 100 times, hitting the bar every time, patak, 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 patak. Even David Beckham used to do that. So if you get good at it, there's nothing stopping you. It's all about practice. Again, coming down to practice.
Right. So even in some research of Cristiano Ronaldo or something I had seen, it's probably, your brain cells just, replicate the situation, even what you have done previously in practice.
Exactly. So that's muscle, that's known as muscle memory. Yes, it becomes an automatic part. So for example, when, I'll give you an example in India of people understand cricket very well. Na? So the cricket you really think the batsman actually thinks of the shot he's going to play? The reaction time is this much. The same way when a goalkeeper is facing a penalty, you think he actually thinks of what he's going to do. It's a reaction save. So when the ball is coming in front, that's what it means by a reaction save. The time which it takes is only muscle memory time. That means if your reactions are good, then you'll be able to come out. How will your reactions be good? If you've done that same action at least 1,000 times or 10,000 times, then it's embedded in your memory. Nobody can get past you. So even at the age of 65, 70, 80, as long as your body permits, once the muscle memory is there, it'll stay on.
Right. You cannot expect to, sit and play, perform, and just go there and perform. So you have to do that. You have to keep the practice again and again. So right.
Exactly.
So yeah. So Yash has a question for us. He says, it's kind of interesting at the current situation. He says, how do I maintain my interest in training in this pandemic?
By the way, see, earlier I used to think that, what Yash highlight. So the point is that earlier I used to think that same thing. How do I make sure that they have the same interest? But nowadays you can go on to who do you follow as a player? That player, you can go on to his Instagram page and see his training routine and copy it. You can copy your best stars. Why? Because all the stars have been through quarantine and all the stars have been through lockdowns, and they have that period on their social media where what they have done to keep fit. Ronaldo has come back fitter from the lockdown. Before, there was a video out on what he did during the lockdown, and he somehow is actually fitter. His fat percentage is lower than even it was earlier. He's faster than he used to be. So imagine at that age, if you can do that and performing at that level. See, improving when you are at that top level is very, very different. The improvements are very microscopic. But his improvement was not microscopic. There was a judgment of improvement. So if he can do that at the elite level, all of us, doesn't matter who you are, I'm even talking about the level of Chetri, all of us can have major improvements if we actually work on ourselves. And in this lockdown, we've got all the social media to thank, because we can have the best of workouts right in the house. There's no excuse. You can do a different thing every single day, follow a different star every single day. Depends on what kind of equipment you have, depends on what kind of space you have, depends on if you have a gym, don't have a gym, have a garden, don't have a garden, have a room, have plastic bottles or not, whatever.
Right. I think it's also about somewhat like how much you want it, like how much you are ready to give for it. So you won't give excuses to yourself. So
no, man, come on. So who are you lying? End of the day, who are you lying to? You can lie to your dad and mom, and you can say, okay, mom, I don't want to work out today because, there's a lockdown. But there's no lockdown on the chat of your house or in the balcony or in your room. There's no space. No, there is enough space. If you can get up, that's enough space, because you can do squats, you can do lunges, you can do burpees, and you don't need to leave your room. And you can do, okay. So see, how is football trained? The best footballers train in the smallest of spaces. We make them do rondos before matches. So the best place to learn control, I want all parents to be giving it off to me, but the best place to learn football control is in your bedroom, because if you screw up, you break things, and that is the time you need to be practicing all the time. And you don't need to do it with a full size football. See, the smaller the ball is, the better you get. And you can get balls which are foam balls which don't break anything. It's all about just getting used to the ball being on your foot. And the more times you do it, the more comfortable you will be. It's all about getting those number touches done. And once your body has those 10,000 touches, which is the magic number, and that's what we aim for with young kids, you are there. You will not screw that up ever again. And that's boring. And that's why people don't do it. And that's why people don't become world champions, because doing something, the same thing 10,000 times is boring. But that's how you become world champions, or the best in whatever you do.
Right. So the little things matter, again, then coming to cricket, as you said, people in India understand that very well. So my father used to say, Sachin, even at his ending stages, he would do the front foot defense probably 1,000 times. But a kid in our academy, he would say, oh, why will do the simple thing again? So yeah. Right. So the next question we have is a question of many people, actually including me. So many people have put in the chat as well. I can see similar questions. So I'll just sum it up. So few people are 19, few people are 20. So they're saying like we started football at a late age, or someone is at this age at the moment. Like they had started, but they are at this age right now. They're saying like, can we be a professional footballer, and how do I
Yes.
become a professional footballer
You're
from
right.
now?
I used to get this question a lot all the time in my Insta page and on my especially on my Twitter account. This is the question I get, that can we still become footballers? There is no age, guys. Okay, go back to YouTube पे जाके ना ISL का final पहला final देखना. There was a 42-year-old goalkeeper who won them the penalty shootout, the first title. I think it was a Kerala Blasters. I think, yeah, I think that's what it was. And again, age 42, 41, you've got Ibrahimovic, you've got Peter Cech, you've got all these guys playing. So I'm talking about that's the limit. Yes, they started at 18 or 15 or 13. Yes. But the point is, what are you? Where are you? Which country are you in? You are in India. Now let me tell you the future of football in India. And doesn't matter how badly AIFF or FSDL want to fuck it up. Still, this is the minimum future I'm talking about in the next 5 years. So you are going to have one league on top where you'll have ISL and I League together. So you'll have around 16, let's hope for 16 clubs. Then the same number of clubs will be in second division. So you have around 35 clubs already in the two divisions. Then the structure is like this, because now in this year, even though there is a pandemic, 19 states already have applied for second division, and they are already excluding some states which are already going to get a direct entry. So by the end of it, you'll have a state league happening in every state, because that's the only way to qualify for second division, then going on to I League and ISL, because it's worth it then. So every state league will have at least minimum 10, 15 clubs. I'm talking about the brand new leagues. Like, for example, the ones who established Calcutta League has maybe 7 divisions. Punjab has 4 divisions. Manipur has 3 divisions. So all these places already have it. I'm talking about all the other ones. Mumbai has so many divisions. So you just look at the number of clubs. Then you look at the number of professional football players under the age of 30. In India. Why? Because I'm talking about 5 years के बाद वो भी जो 30 वाले हैं वो भी 35 साल के हो जाएंगे, so they'll be retiring. So 30 का देखो. So the number of professional footballers registered in India under 30 are less than 500. And the number of clubs already which are there in India are over 1,000 already which are there. Yes, that is why most of the clubs have a lot of kids playing for it, because they can't find professional players. So ये नहीं है कि इंडिया में टैलेंट नहीं है, सॉरी इंडिया में जगह नहीं है. बहुत in the next 10 years you will have great opportunity and there'll be no players to select from, because all the players right now are either already the ones who are good enough are taken in the ISL and I League, and then the level totally drops. There's a huge drop from I League, ISL and second division to state leagues. The difference in the state leagues is huge. So if you guys actually train really hard, and even at the age of 18, 19, 20, 21, and you've started for a year, you train for another year. And when I say train, you mean to say that I'm talking about 8 hours a day. So obviously I'm not saying 8 hours a day football. That means you do nothing else but concentrate on the game. You can't be doing anything else. You can't say, okay, I'll have my job and I play 3 times a week. You'll be playing 3 hours in the morning, and then there'll be recovery time, and then you'll be concentrating on that recovery and how to make sure you get the best food in, best diet in, make sure the best recovery is there, and then be ready for the evening session. And then again is recovery time. So you got to do that for 1 complete year. You'll be able to play in any state league in India. I guarantee that. You do that for 3 years, you'll make it into the second division. Starting from the age of 20. I can guarantee that. But you need to put the hard work in. You put 8 hours a day in towards your body, and towards your body with at least 3 hours of it in football, you will make it.
Right. So I hope whoever and everyone who had this question has cleared it up. So you have to give your all, and then then see the paths which are opening up, and then say. And you cannot sit like it's late, so give up. So giving up is not the option. I'll just add 2 more points to this particular question only. That is, number one, there's a when we are learning grassroots coaching or whichever, there's a thing that kids learn well when they're taught at a very young age, right? So there's something in our mind which comes in that we haven't done that, got that training in the childhood. So does that become an effect like that?
No,
Does
bhai,
that
see,
affect our game?
like I said, and by the way, I'm talking about people even like Sandesh Jingan and people of that. They were never given proper training as a 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 year old man. They're all the ones who started their football careers at 12, 13. जो current crop है हमारा 12, 13 साल पे शुरू किया वो उससे पहले youth football होता ही नहीं था यार. There's nothing known as golden baby leagues and all those leagues which are happening for the last 4, 5 years. So the maximum age मतलब कि गलती से बच्चा बाहर भी खेल रहा है तो 9 साल 10 साल का बच्चा उससे छोटे तो कभी भी फुटबॉल कभी शुरू नहीं करते थे. That is the advantage the Goras and everybody, all the people abroad have over us, those 5, 6 years. Now, starting now, with the kind of things which have come in, starting at that age, is again, see the number of actions you get in before that age. If you, before the age of 13, get 10,000 steps, see, if I tell you, Vashwa, today, for me and you, if I'm a right footer, and I'll say, okay, today, Ranjit, you become a left footer as well, as good as you are a right footer. I'm not saying I can't do it. I can do it. It'll take me 2, 3 years. An 8-year-old kid, a 7-year-old kid, I can make into a left and right footer within 6 months. Because उनके connections इतने formed ही नहीं होते हैं my brain में, जो set हुआ होता है. That is why sometimes it used to be so difficult to get the basics right in even with professional players coming in because they've never been taught the basics. That is why the difference between us and everybody became so much. When everyone used to start training, that means European countries and other countries which do well in football, जब वो भी ट्रेनिंग 12-13 साल की उम्र पे शुरू करते थे 1940s, 50s, 60s, 70s में, वो भी 12-13 साल पे करते थे शुरू. हम भी इक्वल थे उनसे. जैसे ही उनको अकल आई कि हम the main connections are made with the age of 5, 6, 7, 8. If you want to be world performers, when they started that, that's when India started falling behind everybody because we started proper football training at 12, 13.
Right, that's very true. Right. So on a
इसमें we go to the previous question. जहाँ पे हम बोल रहे हैं 18, 19, 20 साल के जो लड़के पूछ रहे हैं. हाँ, so क्या होएगा? It will be tougher for you to do it than a 8-year-old, by the way. The same way, it will be tougher for Chetri to do some. I'm not bullshitting you. Chetri to learn a new skill at this time than an 8-year-old. It's just age, simple. So you'll have to probably. It's not so. That's what we believe. We don't believe in talent. How? Because it doesn't matter how talented the guy is. You work harder than the talent, you beat the talent. You have to just work harder than him, na? So talented बंदा क्या करता है? So talented बंदे के पास talent है. So पहले ही जो मैं काम मेरे को practice करने में 1000 चलता है वो साले को पहले ही पता है. He'll be able to dribble because he's got the talent in him or he's got size in him. So to reach that level, I'll just have to work 10 times harder, but I'll reach it. So do you have it in you to actually beat the talented guy? I don't believe in. That's why I don't believe in talent. That's why we won 4 titles of under 15 in a row because every time we used to get a brand new team. The other team used to be going up. And then winning it every single time is not a fluke. It was because we never believed in talent. We believed in gameplay as a whole and the whole football system, which has been proved again by my favorite coach, which is Marcelo Bielsa, and what he's done with Leeds in the last 4 years.
Oh, absolutely. Like, can't agree more to that. We have a funny question, I can say. Not funny, but yeah, on a funnier note. So just a moment, I'll just read it out. Yeah. So Pratik Srivastav says, how much should you have answered that before, but he has asked, how much should we practice to become a good and professional player?
As much as you can. It depends on how high you want to go. So you are limited by your belief in yourself and where you want to reach. See, if you are 10, 12, 14 and you are practicing 12 hours a day, you will become one of India's best. I guarantee it. No one can keep you from it. But if you say you want to become a European footballer and you want to play 3 times a week here, I guarantee that also it will never happen.
Right. So yeah. So there's one question. Their questions are repeating, I guess. So guys, I think I've cleared a few of your questions out. I'll be taking the questions which are different, but last one which will be similar, I guess, because this guy Suji He says he's from under 17 India camp. So he's saying that he wants to know what suggestion would you like to give to players when they go for trials for state and national teams?
See, in state and national teams, you have very little chance to prove yourself. So you have to see which position you're playing for and what is a coach looking for in that position. And you have to actually put your focus to it to excel in that position. That means, suppose you know that the coach is, if I'm playing on the flanks, on the wings, obviously the coach is looking for speed. And then you have to make sure you have to be able to beat the right back or the left back. So if you are able to do that, you are a shoo-in. But if you think you go to a trial and you're not able to beat the right back or the left back as a winger, either cut in and shoot or give a cross, then obviously they will prefer a winger who can beat that man and go in. Same way, I prefer a striker who can beat the centre back and score, or beat the centre back and take a shot at least, and or a centre back who can prevent a striker from doing the same. So if you do your duty, what you're supposed to in that position for that team, like a midfielder, if you make all the passes correctly and give through balls, then I think you're through. So it depends on what the coach wants. And you can easily ask the coach before a trial. So I see a lot of people making this mistake. After the coach said, what did I do wrong, coach? And why wasn't I selected? Ask that before the bloody match. Coach, what do you want from me? What do you want from somebody in match? See, every coach has a different thing. Me as a coach, I want my wingers to come in and shoot. I don't want them fucking crossing from there. I don't want those loopy crosses in. I want him to come and shoot because I've got three people up front. All three of them better be able to score goals. For example, Henry and Messi, both, they used to play on the wing, but they're not wingers, man. Sterling is not a winger. The Sane is not a winger, but they play, and so is Norris Mares. So they all play on the wing and they cut in and score goals. That's what I want. So, but there's some coaches who've got tall, huge strikers, and they want crosses coming in so the strikers can get on the head of the ball. So it depends. You go and ask the coach what he wants and then try to excel in that, and you'll get through.
Right. So I guess you have to communicate with the coach, and you have to do that before, not after. As
yes.
you say. After
there's no point afterwards.
That will just repent.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have a question from Geeta. So I'll be just taking few more questions.
Yeah.
Right. So Geeta says, what do you think makes you a good team captain? Or, like what qualities should your teammates have so that you believe that they are a good captain?
Oh, so very good question, Geeta. So in a leader, you have to look for someone you can trust. And trust means that a captain should be able to inspire so much of confidence कि तुम बंदे के लिए जान देने के लिए तैयार हो off the field also. So these kind of things don't come into football these days, but the closer the relationship of the team off the field is, the closer the relationship on the field is, because they understand better. So when a leader comes in, he has to be somebody who everybody respects. Why? Because if there is a problem between two teammates, the leader comes and sorts it out. But if the two teammates don't respect the leader can't do anything about it. So it all starts with the leader. And the leader at the worst of times has to be able to be the most optimistic. That means you are 2-0 down and you're 85 minutes. You have to be the one pumping your team up and saying, come on, we can do it. Never give up. Come on, we can do it. We can do it. Because if they all look at the leader and they all follow. So if you have a leader who's not going to be leading from the front and giving it his all and 100% till the end, that's all a leader should do. Give it his all. So if they see giving it his all, then everybody gives it his all. That means performance of 100% kaise hoega? Performance 100% when everybody is performing 100%. When the leader performs 100%, it's very tough for his teammates not to perform 100%. But if he doesn't, very tough for his teammates not to excel. Because they see कि हमारा leader ही ऐसा तो हम क्या करें? It's again, you have to have one guy who's up front, leads. I can't hear you, bro.
Yeah, sorry. So I was saying, yeah, I hope the question was answered, accurately. So yeah. So I have one more question. Not one, I guess 2 or 3 questions. So, okay. So next, I have a question from our member only. So he asks young players out here. Okay, it's about forwards. So India have a problem in finding forwards, right? So young players players who want to be forwards, they start their career as forwards, and they want to go to the top level as strikers or forward players. So what's the tip for them? Because generally we see them being converted or going not
See,
playing as striker eventually.
being honestly, they were being converted because there was no space for them. For example, when I sent Shubham Sarangi from here, he was the top scorer for me in my first under 15 title. And along him were Vikram Pratap and Manveer, the junior Manveer. They were there as well. The one who played for Sudeva this time. So they were strikers. But when Shubham Sarangi went to Odisha, at that time earlier, Delhi Dynamos, there was no chance he was going to get to play as a striker. Okay, because you have foreigners there. And how many foreigners? 7 foreigners. So you have 2 strikers. And obviously, I don't blame the coaches there. If I'm a coach and I have a choice between 2 foreigner strikers or Indian strikers, and depending, obviously, if I don't have a Sunil Chetri with me, okay, it's a different thing altogether. But if I don't have a Sunil Chetri with me, then obviously 2 foreigners will play. Okay. The moment you do that, then Shubham Sarangi has to think about his future. He has to think that, do I keep on trying and seeing whether I can do it? Like Manveer Singh, he's stuck on, the senior Manveer Singh. Or should I just become a right back or left back who attacks on the wing? Because I know my attacking is there, defending is, chalo main defend kar lunga jaake, but I'll give an attacking edge. So that is why he was converted into that. But now with this new rule, which I have been really fighting for the last 4 years since ISL began, that if you want to kill Indian football, then you should keep on supporting ISL the way it is. But if you want to really make it live, there are 2 changes you need to make. One change was promotion relegation, which we are going to get, hopefully. And the second change was as important, was this foreigners, having only 4 foreigners. So the moment we used to go for a AFC or a AFC Champions League or AFC Cup, we used to always get screwed by, because the entire year the team, FC Goa, whoever man, they used to play with 7 foreigners and 4 Indians. The moment you go there, you play with 4 foreigners and 7 Indians, nothing used to work, because it was after an entire season of playing as that team. And 7 foreigners made 2 centre backs and 2 strikers gone. So we are never developing them. But now with the new rule of 4, you've got all the chances of strikers, whoever the people, and by the way, even midfielders who want to become strikers and wingers who want to become strikers, center, please become strikers. Because now you'll get opportunities. Even at the topmost level, you'll get opportunities. For example, you see Manveer Singh, how much he's grown. And he's grown and he's started getting regular game time, not only in ATK Mohun Bagan, but even in there. If you give game time to Indian strikers, they'll grow. Sunil Chetri, I can guarantee you, would have not been Sunil Chetri if he would have been benched in any of his clubs. You can see Sunil Chetri's record since the beginning of his time. He has never been benched. That means he's got all the game time in all I leagues and all ISLs till now. If you give somebody so much of game time, they get good. But if you don't, then you don't produce strikers. Which now I think, hopefully in the next 3-4 years, we'll see new names coming up and scoring for us.
Right. So in the given situation, I think it's a bit helpful for strikers. So you would say stick to your position.
Yes, stick to your position.
Right. So Nikita has a question. It's quite interesting and important as well, I guess. First part is, when will Minerva have a girls team? And second part is, as girls gets 2 less chances to prove themselves. I think it's a combined question. So yeah.
Yeah. So Minerva always had a plan of having a girls team, but when now Techtro came in, who are powered by Minerva, so we are going to be supporting Techtro all the way through in the Indian Women's League. So hopefully they will open up another club in UP as well, and they'll have 2. So they'll have a Sudesh here and there, and both the things Neeraj already told me that they're looking for girls team, because even in their very first year, Techtro have become the champions of Himachal and created history by getting into the I League, the IWL in their very first year. Very few teams have done that, and hopefully they do really well. As far as chances, I totally believe that. I in fact believe that, honestly speaking, girls will get to the World Cup faster than the men. Looking at the rankings, looking at how you girls really rock, man. Why? Because if you want to get to the World Cup, you better be bloody thrashing Afghanistan and Bangladesh 6 and 7-0. Then you can think of getting to the World Cup. That's what you girls do. You go and thrash these teams 6-0, 7-0, Nepal 3-0, 7-0, 5-0. And when India plays, we go and draw with Sri Lanka and Afghanistan and Bangladesh. So men have a long way to go and might be able to learn from the girls, because looking at the rankings, I think in the next 10 years, you girls should be there. And you don't even need any help. You don't need Ranjit Bajaj. You'll do it on your own. But obviously, we'll be there supporting you.
Right, they'll be very happy listening to this, and that's a fact as well because they have been performing that way. Right.
So the chances they get obviously are really low. And I am a very big voice for. I mean, I've always been shouting out, and I agree with the US women's team, and I agree with the Australian Open in tennis that the pay and the money should be the same. That asset of it, then the Premier League should not be giving any money down to the sixth division also. So the point is you have to promote the game as a whole, and that is why the money should be spent everywhere equally. That's when you truly develop the game.
Right. So thanks so much for that opinion. But that's all from my side, but not yet over for this session. I'll be handing it over to Neeraj Kolia, so he'll be taking it on.
Thank you so much, Varsha, and nice to hear Ranjit, all the words you said. I think, I will just telling everyone one thing. If Techtro is here just because of one person, that's Ranjit Bajaj, because of his inspiration and his guidance, we are here. And we do also join with by Mr. George. He is the director of India Rush. So George, are you here? Hello?
Yes, I'm very much here. Very much here.
Yeah,
Good evening, Neeraj.
Good evening, George. A pleasure to be on the same, sharing a screen with you, man.
Good evening, sir. It is great time, and lovely to see you on a weekend. Relax. I can see a lot of books behind.
Yeah.
I think you've been reading over the
yeah, exactly. So that's my favorite pastime, and I've just got 2 brand new books, so I'm going to be waiting to bury into them. That's my favorite pastime, reading a sports book.
Oh, okay, that's awesome. So I have one question to you, sir. Obviously, I was listening to the entire conversation. It's been almost an hour, and it is all about players and how the players should develop, what the strikers should do, what the defenders should do, and it's a great experience of which you're sharing with the thing. I will ask you is how much coaching education is important, because I believe that because there are many players who are training under different coaches, and how much more the coach should go and educate himself to pass on the right knowledge to the players. Then the players get better, and then the performance to play at a higher level should improve. So what is your take on that?
George, oh my God, I agree with you 100%. See, that is what's been my endeavor to tell people from the very beginning. That unless you have quality in class coaches, you will never have quality football. So when I say start young at 5, 6, 7, that's one of the biggest aims. Now, even the ones who are starting at 5, 6, 7 is not going to do any good, because they have all D licensed coaches, or no disrespect to D licensed coaches or E licensed coaches teaching them, or grassroots instructors. But what we should be doing, what Belgium did was create a revolution. How did they do it? They used to have 50 B licensed coaches. Within 2 years, they made coaching education so economical and cheap, feasible, that they had over 5,000 B licenses. So every bloody PT instructor, even in a school, used to be carrying a B license. So the kids, even when they were at the zero period or the games period, used to be learning the right techniques. And within 10 years, they became world number 1. And that's what Belgium has done. And they're not focused. See, they don't have a league. They don't have a good league. They have a crap league. Nobody even knows what the teams are. Okay. Whereas they're world number 1 because their players play in the best leagues in the world. So your players will be playing in the best leagues that they're picked up for the technical and the other skills. And that can only happen if you are coached from the very beginning on the basics. Like, for example, to teach a 25 to 30-year-old midfielder to do scanning is pointless, because you'll have to keep shouting from the sidelines after every 2 minutes. But you get a 7, 8-year-old kid into the habit of scanning, he'll never forget it. And that can only come in if a D licensed coach, he's not been taught scanning, even C he's not been. So you need B licensed coaches minimum. And that can only happen again. Coaching education becomes so fundamentally available, like right to education is there in normal education. In football, it should be the role of AIFF that they make right to education as fundamental as going and having a drink of water, because it's available so cheap. That means You should be able to pass your exam without having to sell your house. If you want to become an A licensed coach, you bloody have to take a loan of at least 5 lakh rupees by the end, and you don't even know if you make it or not. See, and how many coaches in India can do that? Hardly any. How many can afford even a B license coach, because they take in lakhs as well. So if you do that, then it becomes very tough. You're going against the grain of grassroots. The grassroots is nowhere near these lakhs. Grassroots is the ones you reach right at the bottom in the villages and in the cities. So unless you do that, it becomes a longer journey. So yes, we can start at 5, 6, and 7, but you don't improve them to the world standard. Maybe yes, you get to the top 10 in Asia, but if you want to compete with the world, like you said, George, you have to start at the age of 5, 6, and 7 with quality coaches.
Absolutely, absolutely. So that is where we as Rush, we partnered with the International Rush, because we see in the Indian system is yet coming to the coaching education, and then we realized that entire India is suffering, and that is where we passed on, and now we are partners with Techtro Swades, passing the knowledge, and you are there out there mentoring, and glad to hear that we both are having the same sense of developing not only the coaches but also the players.
George, you'll be very happy to hear that we at Minerva, Minerva have conducted last year more courses than any state association in India.
I'm very much aware. And
at the cheapest, at the most economical, we've never been there.
To be very honest, I have been like a spy behind you, doing checking your work. So I'm very much aware how much programs you're doing. How many licenses means not the license kind of a thing, but how much part of knowledge are you passing without keeping the distinguish between pass and fail.
Exactly.
So that is where as Rush, we internationally also we want to say that okay, this is not just a 1 week course kind of a thing where then you decide pass and fail, but we want to be there with you the entire period of time, holding the hand of the coach and seeing that he develops right from he starts
journey. The entire journey is handled. Exactly.
So it's not only we are holding hand with the players, but also we are holding hand with the coaches, because right now we find that Indian coaches and the players, their synergy is totally missing. Because there are few A license, there are few B license, and they're only catering to few of them. But
I think all the A license and B licenses in India worth their salt are the ones who basically passed their lessons in the last 5-7 years, are already employed with the ISL teams looking after useless programs which are never going to develop players, being honest with you. So if the quality coaches are not available, you really have to go and look out with with magnifying glasses to find quality coaches. So that's one of the main reasons I told Neeraj that, oh my God, Rush is coming, and it's become India Rush, and we are partnering with these guys. I know about them. I know about you guys and the kind of schools you have all over the world and the kind of programs you've been doing, and how it is actually about your program can never be a short-sighted plan. That means you'll never partner with someone looking at 1 year. I know that because that's the way you run every program. So that's the perfect partnership, because we never look at 1 year. In football, you cannot develop. Again, hand holding cannot be done in 1 year. The entire journey takes a decade, and that's what partnerships should be in decades.
Yes, because that's what when Neeraj and myself and our CEO, Mr. Dennis Fernandez, you will be meeting him soon. When the first question which Dennis asked, is it your vision short term or your vision long term? That was his first question which he asked Neeraj, and Neeraj said, sir, we are for long term. And then the next,
we are the longest term. We are talking about 2034 and 38 World Cup. The longest term.
Okay, my last question, and before I think it's your dinner time, so we'll not pull you up.
No, it's the match time, 9:30 Euro. So it's
yes.
Yeah,
so even I don't want to miss it. Thanks for reminding me.
No. I'm just kidding. It's not dinner. So dinner's on the back burner, man. the timings are all decided by match timings with all us footballers. You know that.
Absolutely. So my thing is, how much important is for young coaches? We can see a lot of young coaches, even 21, 20 years, getting their D license, getting their grassroots. How much important for him to impart knowledge on everyday basis? Because I have met some of the coaches, just pardon me if I'm wrong, that they think getting the first license and now they have achieved. And how much more as we are saying, the players should be training for 8 hours. They have to be training for a year to reach a level.
I got what you're saying. See, that's
Yes.
like saying a doctor, once he trains, he doesn't need to, look at and retrain himself. Whereas a doctor needs to pass an exam and make sure that it happens, and he keeps on refreshing his knowledge. Because if I'm a surgeon who's passed out 20 years ago, trust me, I'm really outfashioned, outdated within 6 months. New techniques have come in. What are you talking about? So same way, football is revolving. I mean, if your coach doesn't know about half spaces, if he doesn't know about gegenpressing and what it means and how do you teach it to the kids, same way with the half spaces and what zone 14s are and what's happening with Pep Guardiola and what's happening with Jurgen Klopp and Thomas Tuchel, and they don't know who Bielsa is, then you're not doing your job. You're not updating yourself with the latest thing which are going on. So you are actually not making sure your kids are updating yourself. Doesn't matter. License is just what? License is just a thing you pass. So if you update yourself like this, you don't even need to study for a C license exam. You'll pass it, or for a B license. If you understand the basics, see, football is very, very simple. You understand the basics, but you need to keep evolving. As a person, as a coach, you can't keep on saying for the rest of your life, I'm not saying I've got anything against 4-4-2, but saying I want to play 4-4-2 with 2 tall strikers and pass the ball, bunt the ball to them. Why? Because the world football will kill you, man. If you keep doing that, they've got through that. So if you don't evolve, you will be eaten up, and then people will leave you behind. You will stay as a D license. Even if you become a C license and pass that exam, the kind of people picking you up will probably be giving you salary. You want to become a top class coach and you want to make a difference and you want to really develop players, then you got to be updating. And the best thing about these days is you don't need to spend money. FC Barcelona is offering courses for free. Forget about AIFF. AIFF is doing courses for free right now. So you can take those courses. But FIFA is doing courses for free. FC Barcelona is doing it. FA England is doing it. Wales is doing it. I mean, you name one association, they're doing online courses. So take advantage of that. So now imagine that. Now imagine I'm a D license and I go for an interview or I apply somewhere and my CV goes, and the CV is asking for a D license coach. So there are 50 D license coaches applying for it, but one D license coach has a CPR degree, online CPR degree. Then he has done a course on analytics. Then he's done an online course on the diet, sports science. He's done an online course on nutrition, an online course on recovery. I'll damn well take that guy, even though they're online courses, but that guy has gone and become better. So all the coaches at Minerva, and by the way, it's in their contract that their next raise is according to their next upgradation. They have to do one every month, which is online. And they've been doing this all throughout. Even my D, my C, my B, all have to keep on giving us reports. So they have to be better than if we demand this of our players, what I demand of my players, be better than what you were yesterday. That's it. Don't compete with anyone. We need you to be better than what you were yesterday. We need the coaches to do the same. I have to be the same. If I actually have to get India to the World Cup or even dream of doing that, then I have to be making sure that I am as knowledgeable as the other guy who's trying to get his team to the World Cup, which is best in the world. So I have to be thinking like the best in the world. I can't be thinking like Indian football. And we have to get out of the mindset of thinking like what we can do to better our local team. We have to think of world standards. And that has to again come with coaches trying to better themselves every day.
Okay, great. From my end, it's nice seeing you, and from the entire Rush, I wish you all the best, and both together, we should be, seeing the vision of seeing India and most of our players playing for the country, going in future endeavors. So really, thank you very much, sir.
And thank you so much, George. Awesome being with you, and awesome being with you, Neeraj, and Vaswar. And I think it's been a great pleasure to be here. And I'm always open to you guys to keep on doing this. I just love talking about football. I can go on all night. I'm a football crazy guy. So that's what I love doing. This has never worked for me. This is all pleasure. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much for all the participants who especially took the time out and came and attended. I'm always available for you. If you want to contact me, you can do through Neeraj and even Bashwar. I'm also open to take any questions, or if you want to come and join Minerva or Techtro or Rush, anywhere you've got a lot of sentence, you want to do that. If you want to take guidance from us, if you want to be a coach, whatever you want to do, we're always here for you. Thank you so much, guys. Jai Hind.